brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want
Welcome
styling,
once again
you
to
know
Hostages
comic
to Fight Back here on New Orleans Talk Network. I am Captain Black.
And I'm the Alpha Cloud brother Al Mims.
You can check us out also live on YouTube, on New Orleans Talk Network YouTube channel. Today's topics include health tips for caregivers, because sometimes those who give care can give out, and the unfortunate shooting of a Louisiana State Trooper this weekend in New Orleans, and the surprising turn that case has taken. Brother Mims, do you know a little bit about caregiving, pardon me?
Well, I'm not a professional caregiver, but I got a heart that's give, and maybe I can kind of enlighten you a little bit on that.
Sure. Now, like I said on the way over, because of advances in modern technology, a lot of people who have strokes, heart attacks, and other really, really serious critical incidents are surviving. And because they survive, they require round-the-clock care. So there's been a growth not only in caregiving, but also in a need to make sure that caregivers take care of themselves.
Yes.
So against that backdrop, I'd like to get some commentary from you.
Well, I'm 62 years old. You know, I was going to come with that first.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned, I've been always, I was blessed to have a mother and a father and around people that were unselfish and they would give of themselves. Now, everybody's not like that, but I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go the right way, is that there are people that the caregivers say that they are so concerned about the people. That it could be a mother, it could be a son, it could be a brother, it could be a friend. They could be, don't have to be the same race, but some people are so dedicated that they will go beyond the call of duty, going the extra mile, the extra miles, and with no financial gains. They're not looking for no money, they're not looking for no fame or fortune, no recognition. And that person that they're helping either recover or they meet their demise. What I'm saying is that they put so much unselfishness into their own giving that they forget to leave some of that giving to themselves. Cab, if I'm making sense.
Well, no, you are. I mean, remember, in order to be able to render care, to give care, you have to also be able to take care of yourself. And I think that a lot of caregivers forget that.
Yeah, and that's what we need to be clear about. We're not putting caregivers down. They're unique, gifted, God-given lovers of people, of humans, and we need them in the world, but we need them to take care of themselves too. I could, come to mind. There are many people, and most of the caregivers are women. Most of them, I think, are women because they have a special place in our hearts. A lot of them, they have taken care of somebody else's mother, somebody else's child, somebody else's relative. And I said, and sometimes, caregivers are victims of people just taking advantage of them. Is that all right, Kim?
Absolutely.
Because I've seen people, and if this shoe fits you, you wear it. Some of y'all out there, y'all don't do nothing for your parents. Your parents put you through school, college, and paid everything for you, and now they're down sick and bedridden, and y'all always got some excuse. You let your siblings carry the whole load. Does that sound familiar to you, Cap?
Very.
You know, and we look the other way, and you know, and we've and I've had it happen in my family. You know, I'm gonna go there. You know, I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room. You know, I lost my mother about 6 months ago, Pearl Mims. God bless her. And she made a birthday 2 weeks ago, the 12th. She'd have been 84 years old. And I say, I want to thank God for her first 6 months in heaven. I believe that. But I'm going to go back to where we were originally talking about that there were some family members in my family. And I'm not going to be specific about it, but they know they didn't do what they should have done for my mom. And my mother, she suffered more than she should have. She shouldn't have suffered at all. But there were other people that didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they didn't let nobody else do what they're supposed to do. You understand what I'm saying, Cap?
Yes, I do.
Me, my, and I, and you're gonna talk about how much you love somebody, but love don't hurt. If you got help, let the help. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and some of us, we step back when the caregivers step up. Like I said, maybe a brother, sister, a family member, it may not be a family member, but we let them do everything for our family members. And then when we say, when they may tell you something that you may not like, that's when you're going to tell them about that's not your mother, your father, your daughter or something. But you don't let they know more about your family member and have done more for your family member than you have.
And to be honest with you, if I were helping someone's family member and I received that response, I said, well, then you go ahead and take care of your family member, because clearly you don't appreciate what other people do.
Oh, that happens a lot,
Mm-hmm.
Cap. When you step on the toe, when you start telling the truth, that's when the stuff hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that we're not here gossiping, but that y'all, the listening audience, and we appreciate you, audience, the listening audience out there, but we want to invite you to call us, and if you have any stories about comments about what the subject matter at hand, we'd like you to call 504-341-8255, 504-341-8255, and tell us what you think.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying that caregivers are at risk. Caregivers are sometimes are victims of their own love, or their own compassion or passion to help others. Sometimes they don't know when to back off, and that's not a bad thing, because they're unique people, but they're in trouble.
Tell me if any of this sounds familiar. This is from the Center for Advancing Health website, and it's some things to watch out for as a caregiver. Taking care of someone may be physically and emotionally exhausting. It can impact your time, energy, and financial resources. Notice I stress financial.
Mm-hmm.
It can drastically change your lifestyle and your home environment, especially if you're taking care of someone in your home.
Yes.
And I quote from one caregiver: "You don't get a manual when you become a family caregiver," she said. Over time, she learned to ask for help. And so that's another thing. Now, because you may not be trained in whatever particular areas that your loved one or friend needs care in, you got to ask for help. You got to start researching, because you don't want your attempts to help to actually harm or hinder the person in their recovery.
Okay.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Well, Cap, I thank you for your input, and it's not falling on deaf ears. I appreciate who you are and what you are, and I appreciate you with some of the subject matter that we have here.
Oh yeah.
That because let me tell you something. This is as deadly as cancer. Can I say that again?
Go right ahead.
This is epidemic, and it is an epidemic. It is as deadly as cancer. That caregivers are dying like flies. They're falling down. They wind up being a victim of the one that they tried to help. And sometimes, they're a victim of their own kindness because they got people who step back and let them do everything. I'm telling you, Cap, people always got an excuse.
Mhm.
They always,
And I want to really explore a unique role that you serve as a caregiver, because in some instances, you're not a family member of the person you're taking care of. And what are the dynamics if there's some pushback from the family of the person that you're rendering care to?
well, everybody don't appreciate what you do. When you step a little bit too far, you start stepping on toes. That's when the trouble starts. That's when it hits the fan. That's when you're not the handwriting on the wall. You're not appreciated. You got to stop what you're doing. You got to stop stepping on people's toes and disrespecting people, and you got to slow down, take some rest. You didn't tell me that before I started talking about you.
I mean, let me ask you, is it worth it? Because particularly when you're an outsider to the family, now you might be very close to the person needing care.
Right.
Is it worth it having to always make sure that you aren't stepping on toes, that you're respecting boundaries, that you're not perceived or misperceived as going out of line?
Well,
or getting out of line?
Well, let me break that down to you. There's some things that need to be said. The truth is not. The truth is the truth. I think that there's some caregivers, and speaking some of the things I've experienced, that the only time you out of hand when you tell the truth. When you say something that irritates and honestly irritates like a fly or like a mosquito. You told the truth about one of the family members, and you may not say it in anger or whatever to try to put them down, but you're saying that they don't see you until they need you, and they're never available when you need some help yourself. So when you start saying some things, Cap, that's right on line, that's when the trouble starts. You need to stay in your lane. They tell you, what is your lane? You don't get any assistance. Sometimes you go in your own pockets to help. You follow me?
And that's where, as someone who is urban safetyist, I believe in creating safety, and part of creating safety with people is rendering care. But I always assess comfort zones. I always assess, who is this person? What is this person's boundaries? Because yeah, I live by that, because particularly when you're dealing with, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, Black folks, Negroes, you need to be very careful, because there's a lot of extra dynamics. I can read stuff from national organizations for caregivers, but there's certain unique cultural and psychological dynamics in our community that come into play. And that's why I asked you about relations with family members, because a lot of Negroes, they want to use you to help the family members so they can go to the nightclub or go run behind women or men or both, or whatever their particular pleasure.
Or just go home. They don't want the responsibility.
Yeah, but whenever they start feeling guilty, then I know as they start turning on the caregiver. I've seen a lot of that.
Oh yeah, Cap. They already know, those who are out there, and they may know me. I've had some horror stories, but and I'm not afraid of them. I tell you, you need to keep your hands to yourself. You need to watch what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And stay in your lane, because I'll pop you. I'll pop you.
We got to bleep that out.
Bleep that out.
There you go.
What I learned is, Cap, and you've been a big help to me. And Muhammad Ali said he said this, and now I understand. He said, when you done all you can, do some more.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing it not for glory or not for gratification. You're doing it because you love this person, or you're trying to be an example. And I'm gonna tell you something. Some of the family members and some of the other people don't want no example.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to do it and just shut up.
Yep.
Did I say? You heard what I said?
Just do it and shut up.
You just do it and shut up.
And I tell you what, we're going to hold on that note. Now, folks, we don't want you to shut up, but we do want you to come back after our commercial break. This is Hostages that Fights back here on New Orleans Talk Network.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling, you know it's comic in. The enemy, tell you to hear it. They play.
You wanted that phone, and the answer was no. You needed that car, and the answer was still no. Your family liked that apartment, but they said no again. They even turned you down for the job you were qualified for, all based on a bad credit report. Your credit can be restored. Call Bethesda Community Development Corporation at 504-348-0132. Don't allow a bad credit report to hold you back any longer. Call BCDC at 504-348-0132.
This is Tanya Free. Donald Trump's campaign is under new management again. How many times has it been? I've lost count. In addition to a campaign shakeup, Donald calls himself reaching out to the African-American community, but from afar. Really, Donald? U.S. gymnast Gabby Douglas has been criticized for being unpatriotic. Let's talk about it. These stories and more this Wednesday on the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, 2 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Central.
Join Tanya Free and Friends at TanyaFree.com. On air, online, and on point. At TanyaFree.com. On air, online, and on point.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Mims Bowman. Join me live Mondays at 12 o'clock on the New Orleans Talk Network. You can also join me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're all over the place. We're going to open doors for you to have an opportunity to be successful and pay low interest for your automobile, your home, your credit cards, everything that you buy. We're going to put you on a great path to have a successful future. Every Monday at 12 o'clock, Mims Bowman for you and your credit.
Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero, always delivering the best food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a reason why people keep returning to Wags. The food's always hot, great portions, and it's just down home good. Call ahead to order in advance at 504-348-3080. That's 504-348-3080. And let Larry know that you heard about Wags on the New Orleans Talk Network. Call him now. Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel. Without a pause, I'm low in my level.
Welcome back to Hostages of Fight Back here on New Orleans Talk Network. Check us out on YouTube on the New Orleans Talk Network channel. And today's topic for this segment is health tips for caregivers. And Brother Al, you were giving us some behind-the-scenes war story of being a caregiver
yes.
for Black folks.
Yeah, for Black folks, I can say, and it also some of my family members who happen to be Black folks. You know, and really, Cap, it's I'm glad that we and you brought it up, and I did exactly what you're saying. We need to be talked about because this is real, and in our community, there's the caregivers who are bending over backwards. They're carrying everything. They're doing it all, and the other family members have not doing nothing. I'm telling you, that's real. Yeah, they're doing everything from, they're not sharing. Nobody's helping with the expenses.
And I think it's good to talk about that because the narrative is that everybody needs to run to Black people's assistance, but then we see so few Black people rendering assistance for family members, for friends, for people in need, for crime victims. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Why is it always somebody else has to step in? Why don't you step in?
Yeah, that's why I always say, why don't you do it? I always say, Cap, I've said illustrations that if a man is drowning and somebody done fell down, do they have to ask you to help them? I mean, that's automatic, right? Well, you see someone that really needs help. And what I do is, it's a disproportionate when one person is carrying 90% of the load and the other family members, if anything, they're carrying 10%, if anything. You know what I'm saying? What happened to fairness and righteousness and love? And then if that caregiver patient should, go on to glory, then the ones that didn't do anything, that didn't do one thing for that family member, that's the one that hollered the loudest. Now, is that real or that just Academy Award act?
Bro, I think it's Academy Award. I think it's NAACP. Oh yeah, it's NAACP Image Award. It's all kinds of awards.
I did not want to say that.
Well, you said it anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just wanted to let people know that, and every one of us got somebody, some family member, or somebody who is going the extra mile, doing everything that it really is an angel. They've shown. I've always tell people, show me who you are. I'd rather see a sermon than hear a sermon. I hear people talking, it don't connect with the actions, Cap.
So isn't that interesting?
So I, as a Christian, I'm gonna say this: Jesus paid it, and he showed us by example. I hear people talk about how much they love their parents and their family members, but and they always make an excuse. But I let my sister do all that because I can't do it, and I just can't stand to see her like that. That's bull. That's bull.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If somebody needs to just be blunt and honest and say, "Hey, I can't do this," at least put it on the table.
I respect.
And then we can start trying to plan otherwise. But the whole suddenly this person, you can't get in touch with them when y'all used to be thick as thieves. But when it's time to help roll mama over or change her if you happen to be a female,
come on,
then suddenly it's a problem.
You may change there's some caregivers who are male. I did it for my mother. I've changed my mother. My mother had
and I helped out with my grandmother, but that's on you now. That's because we're their children.
Yeah.
Not just stranger coming in and do it. Yeah. No, that's that sends up all kinds of red flags.
But let me say this to you. I've known honestly that when I say strangers, I mean
strange man. Let me qualify it. Yeah, like a woman could, like if you go in a facility, the women will change the women the women do change the men.
Yes,
and those men kind of smile too, don't they? But maybe that's another subject for another time.
Another subject
Okay,
for another
all
day.
right.
But honestly,
You think so, Mr. Producer? Yeah, Mr. Producer thinks so too. Yeah, that's
he
another
thinks-
subject for another time.
But there are some men who are doing some miraculous things, merciful things, caring things, loving things, Cap, and you know, it's amazing. I said the faithful few. The faithful few are carrying the many. You know, there are people who they got. You know, I wonder sometimes when I see some of the caregivers, and I won't mention their names, but they just keep giving like a Timex. Take a look and keep on ticking. They're here to help this person, and they're not trying to impress upon. But if you say you serve somebody, then your actions should be able to show it. You know what I'm saying? But I just see there are those that's a special group. I call them special forces. You know, because I've seen them. You know, they say they relieve somebody, a family member, and then they almost been forgotten about. They always come back an hour or two later when they have their own life, and sometimes they don't have transportation, Cap.
Oh, I know.
To get around the city, and they got to go stand at the bus stop.
The assisted living facility where my grandmother was on the edge of the city in Savannah. Doesn't have, I'll just put it this way, did not have the advanced transit system that New Orleans has. Okay. So yeah, that presented some unique challenges. Because when you talk about transportation, you're talking about money. Yes. So if you got somebody with transportation and money issues, that could easily translate into not being able to show up as often as the person who needs care might like, or some observers in the family may want.
True.
I've seen those dynamics too.
True. And I did know exactly what you're saying. And as I said, those caregivers, they don't have to be family members, but sometimes they are. Sometimes they could be males or females. Sometimes they're elderly and they're young. Sometimes they're college students. They have jobs, and sometimes they have several jobs. And they fit in where they get in, because nobody's doing nothing to help out when they're not there. So they always have a place to get in.
And just so you folks understand, this is something I may not have mentioned. My whole free security philosophy with my group, Security Within Self, well, caregiving actually falls under that, because not only standing guard against crime for free, but also rendering assistance to people who are ill, again, for free. These are the services that we can offer to each other without having to solicit the aid of outside entities or outside individuals. Yeah, I mean, if you're closest to the problem or the need, then you're best positioned to address it. And that's something that I keep stressing, because we can't just keep waiting for somebody to come to our rescue.
Nobody's going to save us.
No, when we won't rescue ourselves.
Nobody's going to save us. And
that's another good point where we can put a Post-it note up and get ready to return after some very important commercial messages. Live on New Orleans Talk Network.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling.
What's up, New Orleans? Listen, this your man Fred, hosting your #1 sports talk show down here in New Orleans. Yeah, I said it. FanView, where real fans talk about real sport. Join me, Bank Ball Recite, your people's man B, and Madman the Big Fan, as we talk about all the latest sports topics going down here around the country. Again, FanView, where real fans talk about real sports.
There are moments in life when we hesitate. Buying a home shouldn't be one. Markets are changing and interest rates are still low. Now is the time to make your move. At Rocksteady Realty, we are determined to find a home for you. We know the area, provide personal attention and more convenience. For all your residential and commercial needs, contact Contact Willie Jones at Rocksteady Realty at 504-460-3819. Discover the Rocksteady difference.
The New Orleans Talk Network has added hundreds of listeners to our email database. But we don't have you. Make sure that you are in the know by sending us your email address. Go to the NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com and send us your email contact so that we can send you action matters, community events, show topics, and a whole lot more. Go to the contact page and email us today your address. That's NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Go to the contact page, send us that email address today.
Hi, this is Jill Samuel with Faith That Works. Join us today as we allow the Word of God to change the lives of people by equipping the body of Christ to evangelize the world. I want to personally thank you for spending this hour with me and the body of Christ. Join us on Tuesdays from 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to 12 p.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network. Your encouraging coach, Miss Jill.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis, Director of Armstrong Family Services. I'm here to remind you that anyone can become homeless, even you. Armstrong Family Services is a nonprofit organization that serves families in crisis. We focus on keeping homeless families together. Post-Katrina, we have helped over 1,000 families. Now we need your help. For more information, please call 504-899-2995. Thank you!
Bethesda House of Prayer. Bethesda is a church for non-traditional worshipers, a church designed for those who love God's word. Would you like to attend a church where believers and non-believers can choose to worship together? A church where cultural differences does not get in the way of God's message. We invite you to be our special guest. Our services begin 9 a.m. on Sunday, located at 7601 West Bank Expressway, Suite B, Marrero, Louisiana. For more information, contact us at 504-348-0132.
New morning show alert. New morning show alert. The Warren Ballantyne Show airs daily from 9 to 11 a.m. Central Time, bringing you the news you need to know. The Warren Ballantyne Show, now on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel. Without a pause, I'm low in my level.
Welcome back to Hostages to Fight Back. I am Captain Black.
I'm Brother Mims.
We've been talking about the many dynamics of caregiving here on New Orleans Talk Network. Feel free to check us out on YouTube, on New Orleans Talk Network YouTube channel. And remember, those who give care in turn need care. And I know that might sound like a no-brainer, but when somebody is carrying the load for often her or his family, and then working, and then dealing with whatever individual issues person may have, and then rendering care for someone who's in medical need, where does the caregiver get care? I mean, that's a question that needs to be asked because of advances in modern technology. More people are alive now, but are in need of round-the-clock care than possibly at any point in recorded history. And for a community like ours, which has elements always asking and demanding what other people are going to do, well, here's something we can do for ourselves. Brother Mims?
Well, Cap, charity begins at home. And you always stress taking care of self responsibility, self-protection, self-help. You've always stressed that, bro. And here it is, some of our most vulnerable, our elderly, our young, those who can't help themselves. And some of that is, it opens the door for abuse from those who do it not because they wholeheartedly got good hearts, out of necessity. Okay, it becomes a battlefield, a battleground. That patient is thrust into the spotlight by no fault of their own. But you said something, and I want to expound on it. That you spoke about families. Man, let me tell you something. Sometimes family can be your worst enemy. And I'm speaking from my own personal experiences. That you do good, and you think that it's as simple as that. You can do good, and like they did with Jesus, they can say Hosanna, Hosanna, and before they week out, the same people saying crucify you behind.
That's right. Yet another proof, in my opinion, that the Hebrews were indeed Negroes.
I was trying to get on a local radio station to say that, but they must have known. I wanted to tell them. I say, black people were the Hebrews, because look what we've been going through. Look at our nature. Look at our history. We had to be those people, But Cap, honestly, I'm gonna just lay this out here as we get down to the part, last end of the show. But this topic, that you can do all you can, all you want. Give every bit of your your talents and your time and your efforts and your love and your care. And the first time you say something that they don't want to hear, that's when the stuff hit the fan. They forget about everything that you've done, all the things that you've done for them. You oppose the child. Hey, brother, that's when you gotta go. How dare you talk to me like that?
Of course.
And you're telling the truth. That the truth really hurts people. Yeah, I mean, when I say hurt, there's no defense against the truth. I've said it. I've said to people, well, and I've helped when you tell them, you don't do nothing for your mama. You don't do anything for your daughter. You don't do anything for your husband. You don't do anything for your wife. And that's when this stuff hit the fan, bro.
And just to throw some figures out there, according to the 2015 Caregiving in the U.S. report, for persons who render care to people 50 and older, it should come as no surprise that 67% of them are female and 33% are male. Now, that's the person receiving the care. Now, the person giving the care, 60% female, 40% male. So it's higher than we thought. There are a lot of men out there like yourself and others rendering care.
But Cap, I look at people, and they don't have to have a professional background in healthcare. They just have to have a heart to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I see that they picked out to be picked on. They it starts off as a sincere gesture, but it's like a snowball going down the hill. Cap.
True.
They can get out of place.
Some more facts for you.
Come on.
On average, the care recipient is 74.7 years old.
Okay.
56% of caregivers of someone 50 years old and above are caring for someone age 75 or older.
I can believe that.
Yeah, and I know you can relate to that because we have a friend who's over 75 and receiving care.
Yes.
Or received care.
Yes.
In fact, he's exceptional. He's 94, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So We want to send a salute out to Mr. Bukri. Hanging in there and doing that, making it look good too. Yeah, he was looking good last time I saw him. He made it back home, and he's
well.
pretty much all right.
All right, he's all right, and with his family behind him, he's doing some great things. And I'm proud of him. He's an inspiration to all of us. He's a blessing to all of us, and he's a gift from God.
In fact, he's part of the 25% of care recipients.
Okay, and
who are 85 or older.
85 or older, and he got. And I'm gonna tell you something, Cap. He also is an inspiration to everyone. But I've seen some young guys twice younger than him that then gave up.
Here's something you might find interesting. The average age for an African-American caregiver is 45.2. And the average age for an African-American care recipient, the person who's being taken care of, is 70.7.
I can believe that.
I can too.
I can believe it. Cap, and I'm going to say this to you, whether they're being paid or they're doing this out of kindness of their heart, they give more than they receive. Their efforts and their kindness and exceeds any salary that we can give them. Would you say that?
Yes, I do. And now, when we're talking about caregiving, obviously, if someone is in a condition that just requires round-the-clock professional care, then in that instance, your caregiving might be just visiting and moral support.
Yes.
Yeah, because some of us, again, with technology, are being maintained, but the conditions are so serious that regular people really can't render much help to them. So we kind of have to factor that in. But for people who can benefit, whose situations, while serious, still are receptive to somebody coming and visiting, helping, cooking a meal for them, changing them, washing them, shaving them, whatever, then those are things people need to consider doing. If not, well, hey, I hope the cavalry comes. I hope that an assisted living facility will do it, because if not, then you might have somebody sitting in their own excrement, perhaps. No one to change them, no one to move them, and then gangrene sets in. This stuff really happens in 21st century America. Yes,
that's and I always thought that we were excluded from that, but it's happening in our communities, in our homes. I mean, and those patients, those who are those who are ill, I suppose they have done some great things in their lives. They have raised somebody else's children and somebody else's grandchildren, somebody else's. They have done a ton of things, and then when you look around and their time come where they can't help themselves, can you imagine? Can you imagine what they're thinking or what they may be thinking when they're gonna talk about them, but they're not gonna give back and nobody's gonna help them? What is wrong with that picture?
It's a real picture. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, the majority of caregivers are women, but the majority of women aren't caregivers. Almost half of the men are caregivers, but not almost half of the caregivers are men. I mean, let's just be honest. Very few people in today's society feel obligated. And my position, you can't force somebody to care. If you don't care, for me, that's the end of conversation. Now to move on to other ways to create safety, other ways to create caregiving if person X doesn't want to do it.
Well,
because the time spent arguing with them is time that we spent trying to render assistance.
Well, what I've seen is sometimes that individual, a family member or whatever, that you try to render some opinion or advice to, they're so embedded in guilt, I call it, they don't want to receive it. And that's when the trouble starts, where they want to they're not doing anything anyway, but well, I'm not going to do nothing. Well, you ain't doing nothing anyway. And, to be helpless, let me tell you what happened to the dignity And that's why I respect hospice. You know, that when people are dying or are going to leave here, they should have dignity and respect. You know, they should be disrespected and you know, taught and feathered, not for anything they have done, but they feel like it. When nobody's taking care of, they can't go to the bathroom and they have to wear Pampers and things like that, and nobody's changing them. And I can't imagine, because I have pride about myself. I've never been in a situation where I couldn't take care of my own personal needs, but there are people who can, and they got young people too, Cap.
Oh yes,
they can't do anything. So if your heart's not in it, don't get in it. I want to thank the caregivers, those, and there are many, and they like I said, some of them don't have no connection to the family, but just want to help, and just kind of step back and maybe do a review of what you're doing. Cap, I'll put you on the spot. If I would, maybe some do's and some don'ts.
Sure. And after we come back from a commercial break, we will have do's and don'ts for staying healthy as a caregiver.
I want to listen to
that. Yes. The rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling, you know it's time again. The enemy.
Back. How popular the man.
Are y'all ready for this tea? The New Orleans Talk Network has all the behind-the-scenes info, gossip, and happenings in the world of Hollywood. You gotta tune in to Dishing with Christian on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on the NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
I got all sides in my bag swag.
This is the Reverend D. Dunn
and Charles Stewart.
We will be coming to you live every Monday, 11 to 12 noon on New Orleans Talk Network, hosting a new show, A Church Without Walls. The church is us, and the church is you. We are church with no boundaries. Stay as long as you want, leave when you want. Remember, every Monday, 11 to 12 noon, tune into A Church with No Walls.
Don't you dare miss it.
This is Belinda Parker Brown, President of Louisiana United International. I am the host for A Force for Justice. You can listen to us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central, exposing the injustice in our criminal justice system. You can also call in at 504-341-8255 and tell us how you have become a victim in our criminal justice system.
On the New Orleans Talk Network, A Force for Justice with Belinda Parker Brown.
This is Tanya Free. Gold medalist Gabrielle Douglas, known as Gabby, has been criticized for not putting her hand over her heart during the national anthem. Critics think this is unpatriotic. What's your take? Do you think Gabby was being unpatriotic? Do you assume the traditional pose during the national anthem?
Join Tanya Free and friends at TanyaFree.com. On air, online, and on point.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready, because the conversation will be hot, and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app, available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Happy Happy Mary Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel.
Welcome back to Hostages Fight Back. Please check us out on YouTube on the New Orleans Talk Network channel. Brother Mims said he was going to put me on the spot and ask me about some tips for caregivers. I guess the unofficial name for this segment should have been "Who Cares About Caregivers?"
Wow.
Yeah, I like throwing titles on things, so that's the unofficial title for it.
Do it.
But tips include you have got to pace yourself. You've got to be realistic about what you can give. Guilting yourself out, making yourself ill, missing work. None of that is going to help you. And in turn, if you can't help yourself, then that limits the help you can render to other people. Don't internalize. I mean, oftentimes
you always.
And I say this not to say you shouldn't care, but because the folks you're dealing with are oftentimes in pain and in hopeless situations. And if it wasn't for the grace of God and modern technology, they wouldn't be here. So many of your visits with the person you're caring about, or you're rendering care to, might not be pleasant. If you absorb that within yourself, instead of one miserable person, now we have two miserable people. What's been accomplished, particularly when one of you has to be the one who renders care? Those are my top tips. Check out, you got to assess your comfort zone. You got to say, can I take this on, and to what extent I can take it on? And you got to be honest. And you know what? And it doesn't matter what family or friends say, because you have to be honest with yourself about what you can do. And oftentimes the people criticizing you are ones who aren't doing anything anyway.
Wow.
Particularly in the Black community. I don't know about white folks, but I know about us. You're number one chorus of critics of people who A, can't do what you do, and B, aren't doing anything.
I won't do.
No, that's it.
Don't want to do.
Nope.
And they find an excuse not to do.
But they can flap their gums about what you're not doing.
Right. And all that good, it's almost for nothing. They always forgot. And I'm saying this, it's honestly, there are some people who ain't worth jack nothing. They haven't done anything for their family members, their caregivers.
And I would say exactly what jack nothing is, but I would hate for the owner, our good friend and Reverend Jones, to come here and hit me in the head.
Yeah, but I would think that Cap, that we had uncovered a multitude of circumstances, situations. We have somebody? Oh, we have someone on the phone?
No. Our super producer said you need to lean closer to the microphone.
Okay. Man,
he's so cool he doesn't talk. He just gives hand signals.
I'm not talking loud enough, but I want people to know that this is dear to my heart, and I hope that in the last hour we have taken some painful time, because it brings back memories of some of my personal experiences with helping those who can't help themselves. And
bro, so much of this involves guilt, particularly if you're caring for someone who raised you. So when you couldn't clean yourself, when you couldn't do, this person did for you. And now the roles are reversed. And that is deeply traumatizing.
And Cap, you know what? When I think about it, we were young, and when they took care of us, we wasn't nothing nice, huh, bro? And they did it with love. And and they laughed, and they showed us love and thing. And I'm gonna tell you something. my son, my only son, and my daughter, them. Boy, them niggas got some stuff can come out of them. Girls can smell like boys sometimes.
This is true. This is true.
So
Yet another topic for another time. Little girls who smell like boys. And remember, here on Hostages to Fight Back, we tackle anything and everything.
Untouchable stuff.
This is true. This is true.
But I just want to say that what we're saying is that it's a thankless job. People do a lot, have done a lot. And I've seen those I wouldn't do them injustice by calling names, but I've seen a lot of those caregivers give everything and they come back with nothing. Their heart has been aching. They've been abused, misused, talked about, and cussed out, and
called everything.
Everything.
A child of God.
But because they said something to the family members that they should have done, and they told the truth. And if anybody could have told them, they should have been able to want to tell them. But then, did we come back with that? It ain't none of your business. And what is your business? But you let this caregiver who don't have an ounce of blood of your family, but everybody thinks that's their mother or father.
You ever notice in the neighborhood when you start seeing the young woman showing up with the hospital scrubs on? Yeah, a lot of times that young woman is spending more time with your loved one than you are, and maybe because you're working, maybe it's because you got your own family.
Let me ask Cap. Stay online with you all. You said don't give them.
Oh no, I'm just leading. That's I'm setting them up.
Okay,
yeah, maybe, or maybe it's because you don't give a good doggone.
That's right, and that.
And again,
and that's the one that cried the loudest too. Sometimes.
Oh yes, that's the one who blames you for being an interloper. Blames you for interfering. If I told you about how my do-nothing cousins tried to handle me in the wake of my grandmother's death.
You went there.
Oh, yes, I went there. Because, you got to let people know that when we talk about free security, when I talk about the professional services I offer, urban safety, as we say, all this is coming from the heart and from the soul. It's not coming from a robot.
Well, may I do one thing?
Sure.
As we leave this subject and go on to some other pressing needs in our community, we're gonna bring it to the surface and talk about it and discuss it and give them some answers, right? Whether you like it or not. But I'm gonna say this to you. I want to thank each and every one of these caregivers, and I don't know everybody personally. There are those who in some of the most wealthiest homes, and many of them are just giving the most important thing they have is their time and their love and their care, and they do it because they care. And we can learn a lot from these individuals who give of themselves. And I ask God that He would continue to show them love and take care of themselves. Look at yourself in the mirror, and you need to check up from the neck up, because you got to take care of you. Because some of these people that they owe you a debt of gratitude, it ain't coming, huh, Cap?
Nope, it'll never be repaid.
And I hate to say it like that, because but we got to tell you the truth. We got to tell you the truth. If it hurts, we're going to tell you the truth, right?
That's right. Caregivers, we care about you. Folks, I want you to tune in to our next segment when we talk about the state trooper who was shot this weekend in New Orleans.
Yes,
and
we're going to make some people mad.
Oh, yes, and the violent crime problem that some people claim doesn't exist. Tune back in after these commercial messages here on New Orleans Talk Network.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling, you know it's time again. The enemy.
Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero. Always delivering the best food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a reason why people keep returning to Wags. The food's always hot, great portions, and it's just down home good. Call ahead to order in advance at 504-348-3080. That's 504-348-3080. And let Larry know that you heard about Wags on the New Orleans Talk Network. Call him now. Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero.
There are moments in life when we hesitate. Buying a home shouldn't be one. Markets are changing and interest rates are still low. Now is the time to make your move. At Rocksteady Realty, we are determined to find a home for you. We know the area, provide personal attention, and more convenience. For all your residential and commercial needs, contact Willie Jones at Rocksteady Realty at 504-460-3819. Discover the Rocksteady difference.
You wanted that phone, and the answer was no. You needed that car, and the answer was still no. Your family liked that apartment, but they said no again. They even turned you down for the job you were qualified for, all based on a bad credit report. Your credit can be restored. Call Bethesda Community Development Corporation at 504-348-0132. Don't allow a bad credit report to hold you back any longer. Call BCDC at 504-348-0132.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
This is the Reverend D. Dunn
and Charles Stewart.
We will be coming to you live every Monday, 11 to 12 noon on New Orleans Talk Network, hosting a new show, A Church Without Walls. The church is us, and the church is you. We are a church with no boundaries. Stay as long as you want, leave when you want. Remember, every Monday, 11 to 12 noon, tune into A Church with No Walls.
Don't you dare miss it.
This is Belinda Parker Brown, President of Louisiana United International. I am the host for A Force for Justice. You can listen to us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central, exposing the injustice in our criminal justice system. You can also call in at 504-341-8255 and tell us how you have become a victim in our criminal justice system.
On the New Orleans Talk Network, A Force for Justice with Belinda Parker Brown.
This is Tanya Free. Donald Trump's campaign is under new management again. How many times has it been? I've lost count. In addition to a campaign shakeup, Donald calls himself reaching out to the African American community, but from afar. Really, Donald? U.S. gymnast Gabby Douglas has been criticized for being unpatriotic. Let's talk about it. These stories and more this Wednesday on the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, 2 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Central.
Join Tanya Free and Friends at TanyaFree.com. On air, online, and on point. At TanyaFree.com. On air, online, and on point.
Back, how popular the man.
Are y'all ready for this tea? The New Orleans Talk Network has all the behind-the-scenes info, gossip, and happenings in the world of Hollywood. You gotta tune in to Dishing with Christian on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on the NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
I got sauce in my bag, swag.
Hi, this is Jill Samuel with Faith That Works. Join us today as we allow the Word of God to change the lives of people by equipping the body of Christ to evangelize the world. I want to personally thank you for spending this hour with me and the body of Christ. Join us on Tuesdays from 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to 12 p.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network. Your encouraging coach, Miss Jill.
Crown Properties Incorporated, Development and Property Management Specialist, specializing in commercial and residential properties. With over 20 years experience, we specialize in property management, tenant placement, rent collection. We also manage single group housing. We have a full-time maintenance staff, 24-hour emergency on-call services, and we're fully licensed and insured. Let us do all the work while you receive the monthly checks at Crown Properties Incorporated. For more information, call 504-366-4001. That number again is 504-366-4001. Or come visit us at 405 Gretna Boulevard, Suite 109, Gretna, Louisiana. Crown Properties Incorporated. For all your property management needs. You be the investor, we'll be the landlord. Crown Properties Incorporated.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause.
Welcome back to
to
Hostages of Fight Back. This is our second hour. Still got the power. We're going to be talking about the state trooper who was shot this weekend and some very interesting developments in that case. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the table.
Go ahead, Cap.
I could give a good damn less whether or not some thug who jumps out shooting at a police officer kills himself or is killed by one of the officers that he tried to shoot.
Well, Cap, can I add something else to this? You know, if they don't respect authority or respect police officers, state troopers, or the brothers with the badge, how are they gonna respect us? I mean, what I'm saying is, when they jumped out of that car with those guns, they put the neighborhood at risk. You know, because
you mean the neighborhood actually matters?
It didn't.
I'm just curious because
it didn't. The action didn't show it.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you,
the action didn't show it.
Because situations like this, you know, they always rub me raw. Because the same Negroes who march for the latest felon who gets shot and killed by a police officer never march for the black people in the neighborhoods where goons like this jump out of vehicles shooting. If any one of those rounds would have hit a child or a little old lady or an innocent brother, would anybody?
Right.
Would anybody have wanted to get out there and march the way they march for? I won't throw out any names. I know y'all got them hanging up on your wall. Like my grandparents used to have, you know, Bobby Kennedy and Dr. King and JFK. Well, I'll just say the people we got on the wall now aren't nearly on that caliber.
You know, I'm gonna put it out there, Cap, and I invite people to call 504-341-8255. 501 504. I'm sorry.
341
8255. I'm sorry. I get hyped up sometimes, Cap, because
I mean, this is a topic that hypes both of us up.
I'm angry because, Cap, we have an epidemic in our community, and we have a tendency to protect and endorse or protect drug dealers and thugs. And I got problems with that.
And I got to now, bro. Now you told me to
carjackings and
you told me to lay off of them. So this isn't a critique. This is an observation. Okay.
Okay.
But you tell me. You all right.
All right.
When I saw Superintendent Harrison do his press conference,
yes,
and he stated that he wasn't going to tell the mother of this thug. That he wasn't going to contact her until the coroner's office gave her the autopsy report. And I'm thinking to myself, oh no, he wasn't going to release. That's it. This thing's got me so mad. He wasn't going to release this dude's name until the coroner made a report and gave that report to the dude's mother. Well, FYI, he got shot by the police. So that's how he died. He didn't slip on a banana peel, and he got shot by the police because he was shooting at them. That's right.
And no fault of his.
You know what? He didn't get shot.
No. He shot his. Well, he was shot.
He committed
twice.
suicide.
No, he was.
So he was hit twice.
Twice,
okay.
but it was non-life threatened. He wasn't killed.
Okay.
The bullet that was self-inflicted.
Because I usually give accurate details, but this one, because you know what, what's got me worked up, because I'm waiting for somebody to say, well, if they hadn't been chasing him, then he wouldn't have shot himself.
No, he was a coward.
Hey, bro.
I bet you had a long, extensive record, and he knew that he was going to go to jail.
And let me ask you something. And where are our police executives, not the rank and file troops who get shot at like those guys at night, but where are our police executives to say, hey, this dude was a bad actor. Here's this dude's record. Just like if one of us had shot him wrong, you would want to know, did you have any disciplinary action taken against him? Well, here's this dude's record. This was no Boy Scout. This was no saint. He wasn't leaving Bible study. He was part of an auto theft ring, and he had a stolen gun. But there's going to be some stupid Negro out there, I promise you, who's going to get on TV or get on the radio and make him the victim. I promise you, bro. And you know what? I'm sick of it. Makes me want to send back my NAACP life membership. Only reason why I don't is because of Thurgood Marshall and Charles Hamilton Houston.
Well, Cap, we have as a history of we're some of the most some of the most forgiving people, and
we're forgiven to our slave master in the past.
Well,
we're forgiven to the hoodlum of the present, but we're not forgiven to each other.
Right.
Let's be very clear about who these Negroes forgive.
Well, they're making heroes out of thugs. And I just wanted the truth be told that, a lot of the stuff that's going on in our community is brought on by themselves. And we know who they are. Most of them, when a lot of this stuff happens, I've heard parents say that, I know it was only a matter of time. That's why I kept them in insurance. At least I respect that. Cap, we got some parents that children in high risk activity, they ain't got a tap of insurance on them. What that's all about.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, he's going to go out in a blaze of glory. So don't put the risk or don't put the financial risk on everybody else. Go ahead, have an insurance policy on.
That's right.
Be honest about what's going to happen. And he's not going to be a Rhodes Scholar. And he's not going to grow up to be a preacher.
And
he's not going to have a nice
girls.
True.
Some of the girls,
and she too. Neither one of these are going to be anybody but what they are. So when they get killed as a natural consequence of a career of crime, at least you can bury the person and maybe have some money left over so you can go to Harrah's, whatever it is you do for recreation.
Yeah, T-shirts and handkerchiefs and all that other stuff. And I say that, Cap, but we major in the minors and minor in the majors. We want to, and I think that sometimes these parents are guardians of these hoodlums. Some of them, they have to make them, as I say, their last draw, the last hurrah, the last ride, and they haven't done anything worth acknowledging. So they try to make them a hero in death. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what always amazes me. Now, your last day is on earth. You might have robbed somebody, might have carjacked somebody, pistol whipped somebody. You might have gotten in a gun battle, with a private citizen or the police. But you know what the family says? Oh, he was a good boy. He used to love to play basketball. He was kind to everybody. And if he was a big guy, he was a gentle giant. And then when the footage comes out of him, body slamming a little old lady, suddenly they don't say anything.
Agreed.
I mean, bro, this is the ugly truth of the moral degeneracy of some members of the community.
And it's getting worse.
Oh, yeah. And the excuses from our politicians, the excuses from our attorneys are getting more and more ridiculous. Now, you're treating, once again, I go back to police superintendent, I'm going to get off of him. He treated this dude who shot at his officers and the state police like he was some ambassador, like this dude had some legacy that needed to be respected. You know what his legacy was? That he tried to kill policemen, may have tried to kill private citizens, got hit in his final gunfight and decided to kill himself. That's his legacy. Let's talk about that.
Yes. I agree with you 100%, Cap. And I don't want to be the dead horse, but there are a lot of family members, people who know I'm telling the truth. They say, brother, they may not acknowledge it, but they're saying, brother Mims got it right on the nose. Some of these same people that they want to mourn. I was a victim of them. They broke in my house. They burglarized my car. They vandalized my car. They sold drugs. They sold drugs in my neighborhood, and they threatened to kill my family member. And they were carjacking people, and I know, but I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to get involved. Hello, sound familiar?
Yes, it does. And how are these problems supposed to change? Because I'm gonna tell you what I'm seeing. The new trend is that you just say, well, we need to decriminalize offenses. We need to stop jail overcrowding. We need to stop people from having guns to defend themselves. This is the type of stupidity that's coming. And if it was just coming from the back alleys and the bar rooms, I wouldn't mind. But your elected officials and sometimes your police executives are babbling this nonsense while cities like New Orleans are drowning in violent crime.
Well, let me break it down, Cap, to some things that what I see and what's going on. I've spoken about mass incarceration, and there is a problem and issue there because we minority and we a majority of them in jail. Now let me say this to you. I know this for a fact that there are people in jail that wouldn't kill a fly, wouldn't hurt a fly, and they got nonviolent offenses. And I'm not talking about a home invasion and thing, and they're incarcerated.
Oh, remember now, I'm glad you mentioned that because, according to some Negroes now, home invasion, burglary, those aren't serious crimes.
That's serious crime because, people get killed.
I know, but according to the crime apologists, they would tell you, well, he shouldn't get 10 or 20 years.
No,
all he did was kicked in that woman's door at 2 a.m. He didn't hurt her. He just wanted her TV screen, her flat screen TV. Come on, man.
But I'm saying is there are some many crimes that they come in the municipal, the criminal courts that that it doesn't warrant prison time, and we need to. I think that the prison system should look after and pursue the violent criminals, but there are guys that have a lengthy record of aggression, violence, and they should have never been out in the streets. I don't know how they get out, but there are people, Muslim of color. This Bill Quigley wrote. I think a book, a report on that, and I've been knowing him about 40 years. I'm saying is that 25 years, and I'm not making an excuse. I'm saying is that excuses is that the disproportionate number. There are people that shouldn't be locked up. I go down to courts and I'll sit down and for years I watch. I said, "Well, the white people at? Where they at?
You asking like Fred Sanford asked that day in traffic court?
Yeah, where they at? Where they at? But I've learned that they get into diversion programs, and then once they finish successfully, they record the expunge. Mitch Landrieu's nephew was in those programs. He stole a car.
You mean the one who gave the middle finger to the reporters, or was that Mitch's son? Because it's
no, that was Mitch's son. That was his nephew.
Okay,
that was his nephew. That was several years ago.
If ever there were a case of white privilege, incidentally,
okay,
we have one. And folks, we're going to talk about crime. We're going to talk about solutions after this important commercial break.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling.
Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero. Always delivering the best food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a reason why people keep returning to Wags. The food's always hot, great portions, and it's just down home good. Call ahead to order in advance at 504-348-3080. That's 504-348-3080. And let Larry know that you heard about Wags on the New Orleans Talk Network. Call him now. Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero.
What's up, New Orleans? Listen, this your man Fred, host of your #1 sports talk show down here in New Orleans. Yeah, I said it. FanView, where real fans talk about real sports. Join me, Bank Ball Recite, your people's man Pete, and Madman the Big Fan, as we talk about all the latest sports topic going down here around the country. Again, FanView, where real fans talk about real sports.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis, Director of Armstrong Family Services. I'm here to remind you that anyone can become homeless, even you. Armstrong Family Services is a nonprofit organization that serves families in crisis. We focus on keeping homeless families together. Post-Katrina, we have helped over 1,000 families. Now we need your help. For more information, please call 504-899-2995. Thank you!
Bethesda House of Prayer. Bethesda is a church for non-traditional worshipers, a church designed for those who love God's word. Would you like to attend a church where believers and non-believers can choose to worship together? A church where cultural differences does not get in the way of God's message. We invite you to be our special guest. Our services begin 9 a.m. on Sunday, located at 7601 West Bank Expressway, Suite B, Marrero, Louisiana. For more information, contact us at 504-348-0132.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes. The rhythm, the rebel.
Welcome back to Hostages to Fight Back. Check us out on YouTube on the New Orleans Talk Network YouTube channel. We're talking about the attempted murder of Louisiana State Trooper who was hit in the elbow this weekend, and the suicide death of the assailant, Brother Mims.
Well, as I was saying, that they got some things that happen in the city and our community that shouldn't happen at all. I think that there's a number of individuals who have run-ins with the police and the state troopers, law enforcement, just all together, and they shouldn't be on the streets in the first place, because anytime, Cap, you pull a gun on a law, you get out of your car or get out of a car or many cars with your guns drawn to shoot and dash cameras, and we've been going with the cameras now. I don't hear too many people saying anything now, Cap. You know what I'm saying?
Well, bro, they're working on whatever the latest excuse is, because as you know, one unnamed person who shed tears because the murder of a JPSO deputy was beaten up in the process of arresting him. Who defended the 3 murderers of the young lady who was a Raising Cane manager. I'm sure she would come up with an excuse if she's given enough opportunity. I mean, we have become, some of us in the community, if not, I'm be honest with you, many, not just some, many have become this amen corner for the most vulgar, the most violent, the most vile members of the Black community. And it's not helping us.
She probably calling me, you and I, a Tom. Yes, man.
All I would say is I never worry about what hood rats say, bro.
Yeah. That's
not a population that I concern myself with.
No, we tell the truth and keep moving. Huh?
That's how you got to do it.
Like
bro.
a Timex watch, we take a lick and
because the same person shooting at a police officer
shoot you behind.
Is the same person who would shoot a lot of these Black mothers who make excuses for their sons.
Oh yeah.
The same person you're making excuses for would shoot your son if he stepped on his sneaker or they got into some argument.
Yes.
At a nightclub.
Or
So
slap your son.
Let's keep it real.
And we doing it, and that's what we're doing now. And that's why I'm going publicly this, and you are too, to say that it was a good shoot. And my heart goes out. Well, because I can't say that the mom knows or could do anything for him, because some parents are naive. They see nothing, hear nothing, do nothing.
True, but by and large, most parents know, because usually it's the mother who's got to get them out of jail.
Yeah,
it's the mother who ends up paying the probation fees when either he can't or won't do it.
Supervision fees and all this and all this.
So the mothers are oftentimes in the loop and know exactly what's going on.
Well, my heart is heavy if that mother didn't know, but I just want people to know that everybody loves their children. And when you draw a weapon, get out of a car with a loaded weapon, you ask for trouble. I mean, these officers don't carry those guns for show and tell. They show it to use it. Am I right, Cap?
So you mean those guns aren't for decoration?
No, they're not. They're not.
Oh,
they're
all
not,
right.
They're not. They're not.
Fancy that. Memos to our area of violent criminals. You don't have a monopoly on firepower. You might want to change your ways before they get changed for you.
Yes.
So, and there's still 2 people at large.
Well,
correct? Or what's the update?
Yes, that's the update.
Okay.
And I would guarantee you that before 5 o'clock news that they're gonna get him, because let me tell you what the deal. Now the guy, I call him a coward. He shot himself. He didn't want to go to jail because he knew that shooting at a police officer, he wasn't gonna ever see daylight again. He chose to get rid of himself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad with him, but let me tell you, somebody gonna know who Bookie Boo is. I'm just using this example, and they're gonna put it together that Bookie Boo, who shot himself with Bungo, Babu, Boo Boo.
I can already tell from the names that these are some cats who are not going to amount to much. I mean, I'm sorry.
What I'm just saying is, Cap.
They say what's in the name? Everything.
Everything. Cap. They're gonna find out that Boo Boo was with Baba, and they're gonna find out that he ain't got no alibi. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. And that be said, we have to put the bar up high and say that we're not gonna take this no more. We're not gonna defend thugs. We're not gonna utilize your is that utilized?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yes, thugs. I think I want to.
You can say that you don't want to validate.
Yes.
Memorialize.
I stand to be corrected, but I want to say that we don't rubber stamp this violence, and I don't care whether it's white, poor, or white, but that officer represents authority and to protect and to serve. And if they do that to an officer, you and I are in trouble, Cap.
Oh yes, but remember, it doesn't matter if someone is hurt. All that matters is that the victimizer is blameless, that you can't blame him for the people he shot, that you can't blame him for the people he robbed, you can't blame him for the houses he burgled. You see the pattern? No matter what he does, it's not his fault. It's slavery's fault. It's history's fault. It's the Tea Party's fault.
No love, huh?
Yeah.
No. Oh man, I'm telling you, I heard more excuses, bro, than
and serving on the parole board. I can only imagine.
Oh, Cap. Bringing back those days, I saw a lot of circumstances, situations that that depressed me, that hurt me, that made me say, I want to get up and holler. I want to leave. There were things that I had done and my colleagues had to do. It didn't make us feel good, but we had no choice. There were people that came before us, and we just wanted to say, pass him, but it's going to get better. I would hope that I look at parents who look at hip-hop and Atlanta housewives. They're out there and they got on their little short pants looking at their legs, and some of the stuff they wear, they shouldn't wear the Cap. But with all that said, we more.
So let me ask you something. Is it hard for the parole board to concentrate if they, people wearing short pants?
No,
was that a question for another?
No. I'm saying is that parents, I see parents on the streets.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wearing the shorts, and I think I look good for my age, but you are a parent, a grandparent, an auntie, and you are not your child, nieces, nephew, grandchildren. You're not their buddy. You're not their friend. You're you're an authority figure, and you need to act like it, Cap.
It would be novel, yeah.
Yeah, our system.
We don't expect that to happen.
No. And I said to my brothers out here who take a lot of slack. I mean, I'm not speaking to the brothers who are standing on the ground and on the wall and doing the right thing. I'm speaking to that fraction of us that think that the world owes us something and that we want to blame the white man for everything that go on in our lives. Yeah, we got disparities, we got racism, we got problems with us.
Remember, hiding behind a tree, Brother Al, is a white man controlling all of our behavior. So if I get out here today and I go and rob a bank, it's not my fault. There's some white man somewhere controlling me, controlling my every move, my every thought, because I don't have a brain, Brother Al. This is what people are really saying. The fine print to all this excuse making is Buki, Ray, Hambone, Skillet, however you want to call them, are too stupid.
Yes.
And too immoral to think for themselves. So consequently, they should not be held responsible for their actions. That's what it sounds like to me.
As I think about it, Cap, I try to figure out, what are we thinking? Where are we going? And as long as I've been doing this, I should see some kind of clarity, but it's still cloudy. It's still not clear, Cap. It's still fuzzy to me.
It'll never be clear when you're dealing with people who don't want to do right and then want to make excuses for wrongdoing. So there can't be clarity. See, you're doing your part. Fatherhood Roundtable is doing their part. Lots of other people out there, known and unknown, are doing their parts, but you can't do it for the person. If the person doesn't want to be decent, you can't inject decency into them.
So I say,
or download it into them.
I can't help you. And they give me these long stories about what happened and this. And I'm Cap. Sometimes I'm telling those listeners out there that they need to keep walking. Go to first. Keep walking. Don't stop. Because everything that your family tell you, you don't need to hear it. And some of the stuff that they have done, you don't want to know about it. Because you'll be surprised in how you'll lock your doors. You probably won't have them in the house no more. Because we got some family members. I got them too. They ain't worth a hill of beans.
I mean, bro, my urban safetyism was created in large measure against the undisciplined children of these women raising hell and destroying our community.
Now you're
from
making
coast to
them mad.
coast.
You're making them mad.
They'll be all right because we're going to go to a break and we'll be right back.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling, you know it's comic in. The enemy, telling you to hear it.
Back. How popular the man.
Are y'all ready for this tea? The New Orleans Talk Network has all the behind-the-scenes info, gossip, and happenings in the world of Hollywood. You gotta tune in to Dishing with Christian on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on the NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
I got all sides in my bag swag.
At Jones Insurance, we find that peace of mind offers a real advantage. That is why we work hard to make things easier for you by protecting your cars, your homes, your businesses, and your life. Peace of mind, isn't that the best protection? Learn what insurance can do for you. Call your agent at 504-348-1492 or visit us at 7603 West Bank Expressway, Marrero, Louisiana.
This is the Reverend D. Dunn
and Charles Stewart.
We will be coming to you live every Monday, 11 to 12 noon on New Orleans Talk Network, hosting a new show, A Church Without Walls. The church is us and the church is you. We are church with no boundaries. Stay as long as you want, leave when you want. Remember, every Monday, 11 to 12 noon, tune into A Church with No Walls.
Don't you dare miss it.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
Crown Properties Incorporated, development and property management specialists, specializing in commercial and residential properties. With over 20 years experience, we specialize in property management, tenant placement, rent collection. We also manage single group housing. We have a full-time maintenance staff, 24-hour emergency on-call services, and we're fully licensed and insured. Let us do all the work while you receive the monthly checks. At Crown Properties Incorporated. For more information, call 504-366-4001. That number again is 504-366-4001. Or come visit us at 405 Gretna Boulevard, Suite 109, Gretna, Louisiana. Crown Properties Incorporated. For all your property management needs. You be the investor, we'll be the landlord. Crown Properties Incorporated.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer,
Welcome back,
where you
ladies
never
and gentlemen,
been,
friends
you
and
want
enemies, the
styling.
hostages that fight back. Here on New Orleans Talk Network. You can check us out on the YouTube channel as well, New Orleans Talk Network channel. We've been talking about the attempted murder of, well, actually, Louisiana State Police and NOPD officers, and the apparent suicide of one of the assailants. It is my honor to bring before the public
and to others,
Madam Susan Hudson,
the lady of the day,
our independent police monitor.
And we thank for her.
Are you there, Ms. Hudson?
I'm here. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I was been listening to your conversation and just wanted to call in and just let your listeners know about what role we've played in it and, what role we'll play in it going forward. Of course, because it was an officer-involved shooting in which the NOPD used deadly force, fired their weapons, we rolled out to the scene, monitored the investigation, the collection of evidence, videos, looking for witnesses, all that kind of thing. And then we'll monitor interviews going forward, just to make sure that the investigation is real tight, handled appropriately, legally, that evidence is preserved correctly so that we get good quality investigations that can actually be used by a district attorney to prosecute whomever. And so we are doing that right now. We went to the autopsy as well to confirm that he did in fact take his own life versus whether or not the officer shot and killed him. So we're on the job and watching over things just to make sure it's being investigated correctly.
So can you confirm at this moment that he did commit suicide, or has that been determined?
It's looking like that. I don't think it's been a final decision has been made, but it's looking based on the evidence more likely that he did. So once we get the final, decision, then we'll be able to say finally, yes, this occurred. But it's pointing that way. The evidence is pointing that way.
Susan, and I have been, and I'm glad you called, because I want people to know that as we have said many times when you've been on our show, that you're not anti-police, that you the right ain't black and white, rich or poor, it ain't Republican, Democrat, is right, and that's what we trying to. You always try to get the truth and make sure that everything is above board and transparent. Am I right or wrong?
That's it. That's what we want. We want competent and fair and constitutional investigations. That's what we want.
Well, what Captain and I was saying was that I just want people to know that, and they have a right to, and they should, if they feel that something wasn't right, to go to the independent police monitor. But we're saying that y'all going to show the truth. Y'all going to show what some of the stuff that they see they may not like. So my point is that you be ready, because Susan is not anti-police. She's not anti-civilian. She's there independently from anything. So we just saying that, concerned that when people get out of the car shooting at police, what you expect?
Yeah, and I just want to say we're definitely not anti-police. Our mission is to improve trust in the NLPD, police services to the community, and officer safety and working conditions. We are very concerned with whether or not officers are being safe out there and being protected out there. So we're definitely concerned about that. And in this case, we're going to look at those issues as well. Were the officers safe in what they did? Was their training up to date to keep them safe? All those issues will be reviewed in this case.
Question. Now, with regard to any fire that the state police may have had, if this person was wounded by state police bullets, obviously you can't investigate the state police, or am I incorrect?
I cannot investigate the state police. However, PIB, the Public Integrity Bureau's Force Investigation Team, is the lead investigative unit on this case. And I can review anything that NOPD does. So I'll definitely be monitoring their investigation to see what comes about, because obviously we have to know what NOPD did, but we have to know what all the witnesses in there did as well, because it's important. So NOPD should be reaching out to state police and interviewing those officers as well, because that will make a more complete investigation.
And may I ask you, Susan? I said that there were several other assailants, but there was, as of yet, no one has been apprehended. Am I right?
That's correct. I think there were two other suspects that got away.
Okay. Well, what Cap and I, as law-abiding citizens who are for right, we just want to know that we concern all that you can't go around just shooting at police officers, and we want our public to know. That's what we were saying, that that right is right, and right ain't it's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's not all the other things. And if you go to the independent police monitor, you may not like the evidence, because Ms. Hudson them and their agency they're gonna find the truth. And you may not like what you see, so we just telling them that everything is not what you see. It's what sometimes it's not what you want, but she gonna give you the truth. That's all I'm saying.
And I do have to add, with my usual barbed wit, that I do take some comfort in knowing that the independent police monitor is investigating, and not only the force investigations team and the Public Integrity Bureau. And of course, I'm on record. I have absolutely no confidence in anything the Public Integrity Bureau does whatsoever. So it is good that you're there. I think the federal consent decree monitors also are looking, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were in town and they were out on the scene as well this weekend. So they were there as well, and then they look over every single use of force investigation once it goes down. So they'll be reviewing it as well.
And I think even the ATF were on the scene too. I mean, we got a whole big alphabet soup growing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes ATF will be out there to help with things, like they have a dog that can search for casings and bullets and stuff like that. So I'm not sure exactly what role they played, but yeah, there are a lot of people who will come to help in these investigations. And I have to say this, the Public Integrity Bureau's force investigation team is come so far from when I first got here.
Yes.
That side of the Public Integrity Bureau is really doing well. It's operating well, and not perfectly, no way, but it's definitely operating well and getting better.
Up to par.
We still have to look at the other side of PIB, which is the administrative side, the complaint investigation side, and see how well they're functioning. Because I know you've both had some experience with that, and it has a lot. It needs a lot of attention.
We're praying and hoping that
stonewalling and covering up would be my adjectives.
That's his opinion, personal opinion. I'm saying I'm a little bit more reserved. What we're saying is, Susan, that we truly respect your agency, and if anyone feels that they're not satisfied with any involvement with the police, they have a right to go to the independent police monitor. I mean, I would encourage them to go, And matter of fact, I'm doing a cut later today on some individuals from Highland Island, from.
Talking about from another country?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, bro.
Ireland, I don't know remember exactly where, but they're going to talk about our experiences with the police monitoring. My wife is going to do it. It's going to be done after my wife gets off from work and my son gets from college. So, we wanted to then voluntarily, we wanted to let people know how we feel about having independence, not being stuck on someplace else.
And just in case people think that I'm being a hard, which I am, I've been an advocate of independent police monitors, police commissions, civilian oversight of police ever since actually I started during the Rodney King riots in '92. Before then. So yeah, I mean, this is a long-standing. This is Ms. Hudson's the first independent police monitor I've actually met. Usually, this is through research. Most cities don't have them. So for most places, you don't have someone like Ms. Hudson or an office like hers that you can turn to, and you have to go to. And I'm a strong police supporter, but I'm the first to say that my support doesn't include the right for you to just dismiss complaints from law-abiding Black people, but then when some felon gets killed and it looks like there's going to be political liability, then suddenly you want to go ahead and treat his case like is Moses being found. And you know that story, don't you, brother?
Yes, I do.
Well, I tell you though, I tell you and I go round and round sometimes about these things, but I definitely
it's been a long time.
Right, but I totally respect you and definitely agree that we need to treat all circumstances better. There is different levels of treatment depending who you are from the police department, and I think it should be all the same level of investigation, the same level of care, and we can argue back and forth about what the outcome is as long as the process is fair for everybody. So hopefully we'll see more of that.
And we want to, and I think one of the most important things, Susan and Cap, is that we encourage those who feel not satisfied with the findings of the PID and the police department they have a right. I encourage the people to go to the independent police monitor, because that's why it come into play. It came into existence. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
We're here definitely to support. Getting through the PIB process can be completely mysterious to folks.
Yes.
They don't know what to expect, how to reach folks, what the outcome is. And if you weren't happy with it, you can always reach out to us and let us know, or if you need help with it.
Been there. All right. Yeah, I'm saying I'm all the above. And Susan, for the record, I want people to know that I served in the civil sheriff, and my brother was in the 6th district for 19 years in the New Orleans Police Department, and I have another brother who's deceased now. He was with the Levee Board Police. So what I'm saying is, there was no favoritism. So there is a need for your agency, and I'm not sugarcoating it. So you have Cap here, and Cap don't change, but not his whole age. But he's honest. He tell the truth. You ask him a question, Susan, you may not like the answer, but he's gonna give you an honest answer.
But I will say this, in deference to you and Miss Hudson, there are many things that I've kept unsaid for, it's been many months now.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
You don't want to make your allies uncomfortable. That's not the point. We all want civilian oversight of police. We all want police safety. We all want, and we may argue about it, but the outcome, like she said, we all want constitutional policing.
Yes.
My great concern, obviously, is that in our quest for civil liberties being protected, let's make sure that officers' right to defend themselves is also on the table, because it seems in New Orleans that a lot of policemen and a lot of police observers feel that NOPD has to kind of tiptoe, and when you're dealing with people who are trying to kill you, that may not necessarily be a good thing. And Ms. Hudson's office goes a long way toward correcting that misperception.
That's right. And I want to say, go ahead, Susan.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No. Go ahead, ladies first.
Well, I was just going to say, I watched some of the video that was on TV Sunday night, which somebody had taken from a camera phone, and it showed 2 officers running down the middle of the street being shot at. We are extremely concerned for their safety. We know that deadly force has to be used. We want it to be a resort of last resort. We want that to be last resort for them. So we are very concerned that they be safe up until the point that they have to use that, because then we know that if you're safer, then it's less likelihood you'll have to have a gun battle in a residential neighborhood where innocents are. So you want to make sure that they're doing everything they can to be safe for themselves and the public.
Right. Well, let me say this, Susan. I have great respect for you, and the last time I was in your company was at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church several weeks ago, and I want to let you know that that meeting there was very fruitful, because there was some situations that were corrected that I had went through. And boy, I'll tell you, sometimes I feel like a stepchild, girl. I'm gonna tell you something. Black people must have been Hebrews, because sometimes I feel like,
I keep telling you, we were and still are.
Susan, Sister Hudson, I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate your participation on that panel. It made a difference, and it wasn't wasted. And the majority, even the participants, those who asked questions, they said that this is a truly a good beginning. And I talked to Fred Luter, the pastor who was giving the event. He said he's going to have it again at his location, and we're gonna see where we go from there. Okay.
Yes, amen. And I just want to say thank you to you, gentlemen. You're always such gentlemen to me, which these folks good home training. Amen.
Amen. Yes.
Amen.
I do have good home training, despite some of my departures from the Corps.
Yes, indeed, Pat. Susan, kiss Mama for me, okay?
Yes, indeed. Thank you both.
You have a great day.
You have a good one.
All right.
Folks, that has been Susan Hudson, the Independent Police Monitor. You can check her out at their website at nolaipm.gov. We are out.
See you later.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm low in my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling,